Oh yeah, sad to be the one to. They got destroyed in the 400 yards passing against the Bengals. And when they signed DK Metcalf, there was Wilson. They said they wanted to either sign Russell Wilson or Justin Fields, but they went with Russell Wilson. They Justin Fields felt didn't feel like they were to the Jets. I didn't think Justin Fields was that great anyway. I thought he could barely throw 140 yards against the Cowboys and the Raiders, and they were kicking field goals against Denver and Atlanta. So I wasn't happy with Fields anyway. But Russell Wilson came in. He went 6-1 his first 7 games, and he had the Pittsburgh Steelers in third place. They were at it was the Kansas City Chiefs, Buffalo Bills, and Pittsburgh Steelers in third place. Baltimore was in fourth at that point, um, and the Steelers were competing for the number one seed. There was talk of Russell Wilson and Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson all in the same conversation. Russell was scrambling outside of the pocket and doing sidearm passes. And two things happened. They ran into a tougher slate of opponents, and the coaching staff put the brakes on Russell Wilson. You could see it on the field even before the story leaked out. Russell Wilson threw for 400 yards passing against the Bengals, and you could see it on the field. He was throwing to the middle of the field. It came out later that he was auto. Smith was mad. Um, you know, think about that for 1 second. Every time that every time Russell Wilson was every time Russell Wilson every time Russell Wilson completed a pass, Arthur Smith was mad in that Bengal game because it wasn't his play. Now think about two things: how immature that is, selfish is, and you can't be happy for your quarterback. You're mad he's calling. I would be like, hell yeah, let's install this into the. See, I don't understand that. I don't understand why quarterbacks are fighting with the coach. Like, the team is successful. Wilson had his second best passing of his career. It was the second highest passing for the Steelers since 2018, since um, 3 years before Ben Roethlisberger retired. So why not roll with that? And furthermore, Russell Wilson is a play action specialist. They had no play action passes. Russell Wilson is short. Philadelphia exposed Russell Wilson as short, where the Eagles could get their hands up and just kind of box Russell out and knock his passes down, which really was took away a lot of the offense. But you can counter that really easily. You're supposed to counter that with rollout passes. Like, I should be an offensive coordinator. You do a play action rollout pass, do a deep throw to Pickens, and then it opens up other things. If you're doing bootleg rollout passes, like, not every single play, but 4 times a game, once a quarter, another wrinkle in the offense. But they didn't put that wrinkle in. It was like, so after they threw for 400 yards against the Bengals, they ended up losing the next 5 games in a row. But it was really bizarre. They pulled within 7 points of Baltimore, and then a bad interception happened. But Eagles kind of physically dominated them. The Eagles kicked their butt, but they did pull within 7 points in the third quarter against the Eagles, which was a lot better than the Chiefs and other teams did. So I think there was a little too much doom and gloom. If you look at 7 points within the Ravens, 7 points within the Eagles, and then when the Pittsburgh Steelers were playing the Kansas City Chiefs last season, it was 13-7, and the referees, there was on the punt, there was a running into the kicker or something. They gifted the Steelers a free first down. The Steelers were only down. It was 13-7. The defense had been holding. Mahomes went up 13-0. Excuse me. Woo! Woo! You can see me right here. Uh, the Steelers I got my Kenny Pickett tie-dye here. Um, the Steelers, it was 13-0 Kansas City, but then uh, Kenny Pickett, ooh, the Steelers defense was holding them pretty good at 50-yard line, and they ran it 3 times in a row and punted it right back, which was really bizarre. I could see running it if you're like gaining 4 or 5 yards a clip, but they're getting 1 yard per carry, so it's 2nd and 9. They run again. It's 3rd and 8, and they'd run again with Cordello Patterson, and then they punt it right back. I was going out of my mind. Everyone wants to blame Cordell Patterson, but I'm like going, it's the timing of the call. Why are they doing a drop play on 3rd and 8? And the Chiefs are stacking the box like they know what's coming, so they put 8 and even 9 guys up in the box, so they only have like 2 and 3 guys covering pass. They're not afraid of the pass at all, and Arthur Smith doesn't counter. He's like, because he's mad. The Bengal game, when Russell Wilson threw for 400 yards, he's calling his own plays, telling the receivers, hey, this is here run, you know what I mean, like in the backyard, telling your receivers what to do, and Arthur Smith is furious on the sideline. I don't understand why you don't let your player play and give him the controls to do, to help to succeed. So instead, they limited him right there, and you could see it against, like I said, in the Kansas City game. They got a free first down. They ran the ball 3 times in a row, and then when they go and play the Bengals, they ran the ball 10 times in a row. They were like, there's 10 runs in a row on this drive, and I'm like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it's clearly like, look at they beat the Bengals big time, gained the 400 yards, and then they run. It's like the coaching cost the team. And I don't care what internal fight there may have been. I wish the Rooneys would have said, no, I'd taken the player's side on this, man, and got rid of Arthur Smith. They begged Russell Wilson to come here, limit his ability to pass, and then scapegoat him. So, like, I've lost a lot of faith in the coaching staff, frankly. I've always been a Tomlin supporter. I'm not a racist. I'm not a Tomlin hater, but the way they treated Russell was horrendous, in my opinion. And then the slap in the face, of all that. Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson only signed for $10 million. So. You know what? This is bothering me a little bit. Part maybe with the Steelers logo and make it a rant about Russell Wilson. I want to start blogging on YouTube. You could see I'm doing mainstream media. I want to start talking and doing blogs and news and stuff. Not just like aggregate, but like actually report and give my opinion and stuff. But nonetheless, when at first I'm a bit of a liberal and left wing. I'm registered independent, but so I don't really enjoy the politics of Aaron Rodgers, to say the least. It's nauseating to me. I haven't liked a lot of what the Steelers have done when they signed Michael Vick. I was very upset. I didn't protest, but I was in favor of the protesting to sign that dog beater. Listen, he didn't really apologize. He's sorry he got caught. He's sorry his career was interrupted. He's sorry he went to prison. He's sorry he lost money. He's sorry he wasn't embarrassed. He's sorry he embarrassed the NFL. He's sorry he embarrassed his friends. He's sorry he embarrassed his teammates. Sorry he embarrassed his family. Animals. I'm sorry I murdered that animal. When I swung that dog by his feet and smashed his head against the curb, it was one of the worst thing I've ever done, and I just feel horrible about it. And I'm deeply, I should go back to prison. I feel so. You don't hear him saying that because he personally slammed four dogs with an eyewitness. This is what he went to jail for. I read the police report. It's gruesome. He slammed the dogs. People need to know this. He took the dogs. Well, not anymore. But he took the dogs and slammed them by their feet. Yeah, people that like want to say, "Oh, he apologized. He done his time. That was 10 years ago." He took these dogs, slammed them against the curb, bashed their head, swung them by their feet into the ground, and smashed the fucking dogs by their head, smashed their heads open, killed four dogs that way. I couldn't even imagine being so brutally inhumane with the blood splattering everywhere and probably music and people jeering and taking I mean, just sick stuff, man. They would have dogs and like have electric wiring on the dogs and then throw water on them, like just like the sickest stuff that like a human can think of, and like, this is the guy the Steelers took as their quarterback. I was completely pissed, and and again, I accidentally killed a mouse. There was a glue trap. I had a glue trap, and I was like, the mouse was trying to come off of the glue trap, and the poor mouse was trying to. I've never used a glue trap again. Now I use those those free. I don't haven't had mice in years, but 20 years ago, like the last time after that incident, I got those. They're like they're free. They get they run up a ramp and fall down, and then you could collect like five of them, and then you take them to the woods and let them go free. You take them like blocks away, or you take them to your neighbors that you don't like. No, don't do that. Take them to the woods far away. But nevertheless, the before I discovered the humane nice traps, I had the evil glue trap, and I tried to take the mouse off of the glue, and I ended up tearing the mouse apart. And to this day, I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry, Lord, that I hurt your poor little innocent mouse. I honestly feel so terrible and awful. And to this day, I could cry because I'm so upset that I accidentally killed this mouse. And its skin fleshed open. I could see its like heart, and I had to step on it to kill it. It was so awful and horrible, and it was squeaking, and I just feel so bad. I'm sorry to like whatever life is out there. Like I'm sorry. I didn't I didn't want to do that. I never use a glue trap again. I don't know what I can do to make up for this. But I just it haunts me to this day, that I killed this mouse. And I'm sorry, I truly am God, whatever higher power is out there. I'm sorry I killed that mouse that day. Please forgive me for my inhumane actions. But Michael Vick took a dog, slammed him by the feet onto a curb, and he's not giving that level of apology. Doesn't feel he's like, hey, I did my time. I went to community service. I spoke at a kid's greeting. I speak up. He doesn't say, I'm sorry I killed that dog. I've never heard him say the words, I feel terrible. I'm sorry. There's no like remorse. He's reporting on the actions that he did. This was pointed out to me by an animal rights group, and I was like, oh, you know what? You're right about that. He doesn't say, I'm sorry that I killed that animal. I feel terrible. It's like, well, you know what? I gave a speech here at the Humane Society. I volunteered time at PETA. It was 10 years ago. I show more remorse for the mouse that I feel so bad that I killed that mouse. I could bring myself to tears if I tell the story enough time. But this guy took a dog and slammed him. I don't want to keep repeating it, but he treated the dog like a fucking sack of potatoes he was trying to mash, and mashed four dogs that the one guy witnessed. He probably did it more than that. So I was furious when the Steelers signed Michael Vick, man. So that being said, Aaron Rodgers, he's not a dog killer. I don't want to put him in that cat. I don't mean to make the comparison, but like the right wing politics of Aaron Rodgers, I'm not into. But I'm not at the level of like protesting. I think he's all right, man. Um, he's a bit of an idiot when it comes to politics, but I don't care about his politics. So when they first said Aaron Rodgers, I said, "Oh hell no." But then the more I thought about it, I looked at his stat, and then I read his stat. I said he had 4,000 yards passing last year, and he's not a dog killer like Vic. Okay, I don't like him on the Pat McAfee show, but but the Steelers, the way they treated Russell Wilson, the way they signed Michael Vick, it just the way they begged Russell Wilson to come here, and then they limited his audibles and treated him like he was the problem when they could have beat the Cleveland Browns if they would have trusted Russell Wilson against the Cleveland Browns. They only needed one first down, and they would have beat Cleveland. It was 3rd and 4, and they could ice the game with one first down. One of those situations where one first down and they'll be able to run the clock out. But instead, they bring in Justin Fields. It's a blizzard. You can barely see 5 feet in front of your face. Bring in Justin Fields, and he throws a ridiculous pass 50 yards to nobody. He says, "Oh, well, I spotted the one-on-one coverage." Like he's completely clueless about the situation. The Steelers just need a first down. He's wanted to sound like Russell Wilson because Russell Wilson the whole season has been saying, "Hey, if I spot one-on-one coverage, I'm going to try to hit Pickens." Yeah, in the course of the game on first, not when the last play of the game when you need it, all you need is one first down to ice it and wins the game. Well, I spotted the one-on-one coverage, so I heaved it 50 yards down the field in the snowstorm. It was the stupidest thing I've ever seen. The coach putting him in the bozo. When I picture Arthur Smith, I picture a big fucking fat bozo with a fucking red nose, a clown. Like I'm thinking Matt Canada might be better. Like so, all you need and Russell Wilson just threw a 20 or whatever it was, a 27-yard pass to Calvin Austin, a dart over the middle, and then you bench him and bring in Fields on the very last play of the game. A cold quarterback hasn't thrown a pass in 5 weeks. And if they beat Cleveland that game, they're not a wild card. Then they don't go to Baltimore at the end of the. Then they go to Houston instead. And then at the last game of the year, if they had let Russell Wilson call audibles like they did the first time, they probably would have beat Cincinnati just like they did the first time. Instead, hand it off 20 times in a row, because Arthur Smith is mad that you that 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 basically Russell Wilson can scan the defense better than him. But Russell Wilson's more intelligent than him. He's mad because Russell Wilson can call a better game plan than Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith is. Think about this. Every time the Steelers are cheering against the Bengals, yeah, yeah, yeah. Smith is mad on this sideline. Never lets Russell call an audible the rest of the year. Hands off 20. So if they might have been able to beat the Chiefs in that game. They might have been able to, probably would have beat the Bengals in the last game of the year. You know what I mean? So, absolutely ridiculous. And then after the season's over, act like he's a big problem, and and then I think Arthur Smith said, "Oh, it's that story not even true, bullshit, dude." First of all, before the story leaked out, that they said I'm telling you my experience watching the games. The story came out later that Arthur Smith held back his audibles. I could tell you watching the games. I watch every single game, every single play. I don't miss a single play. Okay? And they had no play action all year, no deep passes all year. On the field, they're like handoff, handoff, handoff. I'm like, what the fuck is going on, man? The Kansas City guys, are you trying to lose on purpose? I posted in the fucking Pittsburgh Post-Gazette 17 times. Are you trying to lose on purpose? Are you fucking kidding me? Why are they running 3 times in a row? They get a free first down. I'm still fucking mad. they get a free first down and they hand it 3 times in a row and punt it right back. 1 yard, 1 yard, 1 yard punt. And Russell Wilson, you don't let him do one rollout pass, one bootleg pass. You don't let him do one bootleg play, no play action. Just run, 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 run. And it's not like it's not Derrick Henry getting 160 yards. It's fucking Najee Warren and Cordell getting fucking .5 yards, running into a brick wall because your offensive line is all beat up and they're rookies plus beat up, injured plus the rookies and they're injured, and you're gonna just run into it, and plus not even take into account ripping off 4 and 5 yards of carry. They're getting like, 3 yards per carry, run 3 times. As you're still, it's 4th and 2, 4th and 1. So you know what I mean? Their math isn't math, and they call a draw play on 3rd and 8. A draw play averages 4 or 5 yards. If you get 4 yards on a draw play, it's a good play. 5 yards. And 3rd and 8 draw play, it's like a losing. The coach is like, he called audibles, man. Let's fucking lose the rest of the year. Fucking Arthur Smith. I've never seen, and Tomlin too. They were like trying to kill the clock against the Bengals or against the Ravens, not trying to score. They admitted defeat, like 8 minutes left in the game, and the Steelers are running out the clock themselves. I'd never seen that before. It's always Ben Roethlisberger like fighting to the fucking last second, dude. And here's the Steelers running out the clock with 7 minutes left in the game, handing off, and I'm like, not using their timeout. Like, they admitted they're like, well, it's third, and everyone kind of accepted it was 31-10 or whatever. They're like 28, whatever the score was. They're like, well, Steelers accept the defeat because Arthur Smith is mad. All this because Arthur Smith is mad. Now Chuck Noll got mad at Tim Worley because Tim Worley got a touchdown, and it was like 91 or something, and Tim Worley got a touchdown and went to the sideline. Bubby Brister to Tim Worley, and they said, Chuck Noll yelled at him on the sideline. I said to my dad, why is Chuck Noll yelling at Tim Worley? And my dad said he ran the wrong route. He was supposed to go that way, and he said, but he got a touchdown. He read the play, and my dad said Chuck Noll is a hardcore guy. He wants him to follow the play, and so that's kind of like, I guess Arthur Smith was like saying to Russell Wilson, hey man, don't get 400 yards, man. Run 3 times in a row and punt like we told you. So it's just, to me, it was a horrible, and I'm a hardcore Steeler fan, so I'm in Russell Wilson's court now. So when they said they're going to sign Aaron Rodgers, no way, I can't stand his politics. I was talking about, I was mad when they signed Michael Vick, not putting Aaron in that category, but it was like, just like someone who I personally don't care for, you know what I mean? But hey, I personally didn't care for Ben Roethlisberger with all his rape charges, and not only his rape, 3 to 4 or 5 rape accusations. It wasn't just that; is getting drunk around town and going to the bar and the whole bike. I mean, it's all well and good, but you're making millions and millions of dollars. You show a little respect to the helmet. Go ride helmetless when your career's over. Don't. The Rooney's just gave you $40 million and you're bragging about riding a helmet without a helmet. Like, he's like a bonehead, dude. Like, I don't care if you ride without a helmet, but wait till your career's over to risk your $40 million. The whole city's like, it's like you don't care about the whole city. Like, okay, you want to live wild and free, go for it, dude. But can you wait till like the season's over, because we just gave you $40 million and we want you to like finish your career. Like, fuck your life. Can you play quarterback for 10 years without dying? You know what I mean? Like, so like I wasn't a big Ben fan off the field, but on the field, his performance was amazing. I was a big fan of Ben on the field. I don't hate Ben. I'd still like to meet him. I'd probably still ask him for an autograph. I'd still be honored to meet the guy, but it was I'm like, I prefer Troy Polamalu if you want to talk about my favorite Steelers, probably Troy Polamalu, Hines Ward. And Troy is probably my favorite Steeler. Troy Polamalu would go volunteer and give kids gifts at Children's Hospital and not even tell anyone about it or bring the media. But anyway, because I don't like Aaron Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. It's like makes me. But you know what? I don't care what he. You know, if Aaron wants to come to Pittsburgh, that'd be great. In fact, Aaron Rodgers, please come to Pittsburgh. And if you want to go on the Pat McAfee show, I don't give one fucking fuck. He can go on the Pat McAfee show every fucking week. I don't give a shit. And another thing is Pat McAfee is broadcasting from Pittsburgh in 2 weeks, and so he could announce Aaron Rodgers is the new Steelers quarterback on the Pat McAfee show in Pittsburgh in 2 weeks. So if that's the first time it's hearing your ears, you're hearing it here first. But don't be surprised if Pat McAfee announces Aaron Rodgers comes to Pittsburgh. And at first I thought, no way, man, I'm against his Pat McAfee politics. This right wing MAGA lunatics, get no way. But on the other hand, I looked at his stats with the Jets. I said, well, who cares what his political opinion is? Who cares if he goes on the Pat McAfee show? It's a free country. He can do whatever he wants. The question I have is, can he play quarterback still? And I was like, the Steelers made him look pedestrian. He was terrible when we played him. Russell Wilson beat them easily. But then again, the Steelers have one of the best defenses in the league. Yeah, it's been hot and cold, but when they're hot, they're one of the best teams in the league defensively. So, yeah, we make a lot of teams look pedestrian, and they had their offensive lineman hurt, so Watt was in his face the whole game. I took a look at some of Aaron Rodgers' statistics from other games, and in other games, Aaron Rodgers played really well. Aaron still can get outside of the pocket. I took one look at his stats. He had 3,800 yards passing last year. 3,800 yards passing is a staggering amount of yardage. And Aaron Rodgers had 28 touchdowns. 28 touchdowns, 3,800 yards passing. This is a staggering amount, man. The last time the Steelers had 28 touchdowns was like with Ben Roethlisberger. The Pittsburgh Steeler organization has only had 28 touchdowns 5 times in its entire existence. And one of the times they had 28 touchdowns was in 1978 with Terry Bradshaw. There's only 2 quarterbacks that have ever thrown for 28 touchdowns as a Steeler, Ben Roethlisberger and Terry Bradshaw. So I was like, when Russell came here, he had 23 touchdowns with Denver and 3,000 yards. And I was like, oh, I'm psyched. But Aaron has almost 4,000 yards and 28 touchdowns last year. That's a staggering amount. Ben got over 28 touchdowns 4 times. He had 28, 29, 31, and 34. And other than that, he averaged 20 and 23 touchdowns per year. So if you're getting 28, that's very good. And it's like, well, shit, man. I took a look at Aaron Rodgers' statistics. I said, man, if he got 4,000 yards passing and 28 touchdowns, when we just got DK Metcalf and George Pickens, so if we should be begging Aaron Rodgers to come. You're not going, oh, that old guy on Pat McAfee. No. 1, who cares if he's on Pat McAfee? 2, he can still gun, dude. He's still got to go. And the last thing I want to say is we can't go into the season with Mason Rudolph. He's terrible. Mason Rudolph has 28 touchdowns his whole life. Last year, Aaron Rodgers got 28 touchdowns. Mason coincidentally has 28 touchdowns in 5 years. So Mason, you're going to be lucky to get 1 touchdown a game. And I think everyone knows Mason's like a 1 touchdown a game. Aaron probably can get 2 touchdowns a game. With Mason, you're going to get 1,500 yards to 2,000 yards passing on the year. With Rodgers, you're going to get 2,500 to 4,000 yards pass, probably 3,000 yards passing out of Rodgers. So with DK Metcalf and Pickens together. So, and they said the reports out of the Jets were that people liked Aaron Rodgers at the Jets. He was a bit of a pain in the ass. He skipped training camp, and he would do kind of what he wanted. But they said overall he was very nice. He was cordial at the interviews. The teammates liked him because I put a little time into this, man, and studied it. And I am all for the signing of Aaron Rodgers, particularly now that Russell. I was in Team Russell Wilson, as I was saying they needed to get Russell Wilson bootleg passes, but so anyway, this is by Russell Wilson. This is the last time I will be playing. Bye, Russell Wilson. I loved you, man. But I'm hoping, please, Russ, please, Aaron Rodgers. Bye, Russell Wilson. Please, Aaron Rodgers. Bye, Russell Wilson. Please, Aaron Rodgers. Bye, Russell Wilson. Please, Aaron Rodgers. Please, Aaron Rodgers, come here and play 1 year. Listen, Aaron, you beat us in the Super Bowl. Now you can come win a Super Bowl for us and make up for it. You know what I'm saying? Since you beat us in the Super Bowl. Now you need to win for us 1 year, bro. Come to the town where Mike McCarthy, your old coach, is from, and let's go win a Super Bowl, man. We could win a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers, man. With the Steelers defense. Come on, let's go. I'm getting pumped, man. So let's you know what? I gotta move my camera over here. Hold on. Well, I want to fix my depth chart. This is my final depth chart of the year. Uh, I only play as Steelers. I never play as other team. No, I don't. See, can I not do the depth chart? Oh, here it is. Russell Wilson. So you could see how I did it last year. I like to move Washington up in Hayward's spot because he's got a little more speed and strength. And then I bench Jefferson down for Austin. And here I might as well put in Jones, all right? I'll leave because Dan Moore's significantly better, so I'm going to leave him in here. But next year, and he's gone too. I'm going to put McCormick in since he's starting next year. He's close enough. Fontenot, Ogunjobi. Make sure Holcomb's in there. That's good. I like to bring up Bishop instead of Sutton because Sutton's kind of like beat his wife and stuff, so I don't like him. Get Calvin Austin in there at the slot. Now here's what I like to do. I like to put Preston Smith in instead of Watt, and then you put Watt here, and that gives you a little flexibility. You have a different pass rusher on that play, and and I will put Sutton in on that for his awareness. He is the highest awareness. So a little tweaking of the roster you can see. And this is the final, maybe I'll play till we lose.
All right, no table is safe outside of Highmark Stadium.
Buffalo.
This crowd is loud, and this crowd is ready for a ball game. We're just outside of Buffalo in Orchard Park, New York.
Well, that's cool. I got my Russell Wilson speech out there. I wish Russell Wilson well with the Giants. I'm pretty sad that we lost him. I'm hoping they sign Aaron now. I don't think you want to go with Mason Rudolph. However, I mean, I'd be hoping for Rudolph to do well. Which Rudolph, we played Buffalo in the playoffs. Rudolph was terrible. He couldn't complete a screen pass, man.
This return makes it up to the 25.
He's an okay backup. Well, he's a great backup. And he could do okay, but I don't buy this narrative that he was never given a chance, man. He was given plenty of chances. He just stunk. Pickett wasn't really given much of a chance. Well, Pickett should have started the playoff game when he came back. But yeah, I'd definitely be excited for Aaron Rodgers. What if he plays good? You know what I mean? What if Aaron plays really good? No. Hope it's him and not me, man. Well, I'm downloading something, so might be me. I'm uploading the news. I don't know if I can play because I'm uploading the news. Oh, it was a win. Nice. Let's go to the last game with Russell Wilson. I'm pretty sad, dude. I liked Russell, man. I thought we should keep him. So I don't know. If you listened to my first 10 minutes, you have anything you want to talk about with the topic of Russell Wilson and Aaron Rodgers? We could talk about it.
Here in Houston, Texas. Ball is teed up. Chris Boswell to do the honors. And away we go from NRG Stadium. This will be a touchback, so we're going to need our first snap to see the first action of this game.
Yeah, I have Nintendo Odyssey, but I might as well take it back to the library. Someone's been requesting it, and I feel bad keeping it when I'm not playing it. I could order it again later because I still am playing Metroid Dread. You could look at my thing. I got Metroid Dread, Zelda Echoes going. I just beat. Well, oh yeah, I've got to. Did I beat that thing yesterday? No, I've got to fight that guy. I want to go get Baldur's Gate 3. I just beat Dragon Age, and I'm at the end of Spider-Man, so I want to finish Spider-Man and then play Baldur's Gate. But I want to go get Baldur's Gate. I don't know.
After the sack, another pass on second down.
I don't know how long the Spider-Man's going to take. I might be able to do it right now.
First sack, wobbled the cart. This one, I think, sent it off the rails entirely. Taking the L on each of the first two plays leaves this offense looking at a very unlikely third down pickup.
From his own end zone on third and long. Finds a seam down the middle. And he's going to get this up to the 26 before being taken down. The Steelers calling their first timeout. And after using an early one, 2 left for him to spend.
Oh, it's a pretty important
Offense
play,
looking
man.
confident, but they need 4 here on 4th down. They're going for this. Buying some time right.
Yes.
I don't know what the punter did to hurt people's feelings because I think the reasoning was pretty clear. They were going to go for it. There's not going to be a punter that touched the field.
I'm in field goal range already.
As they turn it over in their end of the field.
On carry, this is Najee Harris. And it's a nice little chunk here, 6 yards. Derek Stingley putting that play to bed.
Najee's gone too.
That's going to make it 2nd and 4.
That's a run that you'll take the result in the NFL every time. A nice play, a solid game, but it's also a run that you know. And you may come back to, because if you were that close to breaking off an explosive
And
run,
Van
really
Jefferson
break the backs of the defense.
After a good pickup,
and Mike
that's
Williams.
2nd and 4. Rush coming for Wilson. Throwing the outlet out complete. And he's tackled after gaining a handful.
Hey, Kate, you know this from covering the Seahawks, calling the preseason game. When Pete Carroll was there, if he said it once, he said it 100 times. Stay on top, stay on top, stay on top. You'll give up a short route like that, but just stay on top of the deep threat.
It's Warren on 3rd down. And he's brought down for a loss.
It's after plays like these, Kate, I'd love to study the body language. What is that offense doing after getting
I want to get points though. I don't, they always tell you to go for it these days, but I'm old school, man. Take the point.
Facing 4th down, the Steelers opting for the field goal. Chris Boswell out to do the honors. This from 35 yards away.
I think so. Anytime you can score first, especially if you kick off first, it's a good thing. You want to take the points. It gives you a little momentum. Not a lot, but a little.
Now Boswell on to send this away. And this one bounces into the end zone, and it will be a touchback out to the 20.
Yeah, I mean, we could have played Houston in the playoffs if we would have just won a couple games, but I think the Steelers were so,
Offense ready to begin this drive, 1st and 10.
like, they got physically beat up by Philly, so they were like morally dejected
Running
or
for the first
something.
time with Joe Mixon. And they try to power it forward, but only a couple of yards there.
Yeah, they looked morally
Still showing
dejected.
that commitment to the ground game, the type of run that keeps the defense from loading up in coverage and focusing entirely on that passing game.
I do a little defensive tweaks here too also, so I have different linebackers, so I like to rotate in the linebacker. I move Watt to the middle on certain packages. So Watt's in the middle right there, and then I put Smith down here. But here I like to put Roberts in for a play because he's good on the run, and then put the rookie in Wilson in. I keep in Holcomb on most of the plays because he's just a better all-around player. But I like to get Wilson in here on a package because they actually do rotate him in a lot. They'll rotate all those 3 guys. Roberts is like run-stopping specialist. Wilson's really good at stopping on plays on the outside, and Holcomb's also good in the run. And Holcomb's a little more solid all around. Holcomb and Queen might play well together, so I'm pretty excited to see Holcomb come back if he could stay injured. He blew out his knee 3 times, twice actually. These types of players, because they play all out. He's the type of player that plays all out, like T.J. Watt. Not as good, I'm saying, but he, leaves his heart on the field, so he tends to get injured. He's prone to injury because he lays his body on the line. In fact, Queen could use a little more of that. Yeah, because Queen was a bit of a pussy last year. If you look at a lot of the runs up the middle, it was Patrick Queen, man. I was really excited when they got Patrick Queen, but now Queen's great on the outside like Wilson, but they're getting manhandled on the inside. That's why I'm excited to get Holcomb back, because Holcomb's good on the run. Holcomb's one of the best run special. Holcomb and Roberts together might be good run stuffers. Hopefully they won't be getting gouged. But they're cornerbacks, man, and that's the one thing. The Steelers used to always be good at the Steelers were always typically good at stuffing the run, and they had cornerbacks that would tackle. And like Rod Woodson was like really good at coming up. But last year, their cornerbacks didn't want to tackle, man. Well, Joey did get a little better throughout the year. Oh no. I'm lucky it was high. He had to jump up and get it. Joey Porter did start coming up and making, but then Dante Jackson was acting like he didn't want to tackle at all at the end of the year. He could be injured too, so I don't want to be too hard on him. But there were times where he was like, "You get him," literally, just jogging and pointing and shit. I'm like, wow, okay. And then you're mouthing off in the locker room "Oh, we could have tried harder up." The team could have tried harder. What about you, dude? But so I'm not. But Slay will be a big improvement over Jackson, I think. Remember Slay last year? He blanketed our dudes. We couldn't do anything, man, because of Slay, and he shut down everyone the whole year. After the rest of the year, he was shutting down whoever he played against. Slay. So my eye test was yeah, get him, man. And he's not like Peterson. He's still a little bit young. He still has maybe a year or two in him. Unlike Peterson was 35, I think Slay's 33, so he's still maybe 2 or 3 years away from degrading. I feel. Beanie Bishop, I wish they would start Beanie instead of Sutton. I don't know what Beanie did or whose Wheaties he pissed in, but fucking, it's part of my French, but Cam Sutton was getting torched against the, Cam Sutton was getting destroyed against the Ravens in the playoff game. And I'm like, why is he still in the game? He's getting killed. Well, see what Beanie can do. Beanie had 4 or 6 touchdowns or 4 touchdowns in 6 games or whatever.
Cordero Patterson now to return, and he gets across the 30 before he's brought down.
I don't know. I didn't like how they treated Beanie. I didn't like how they treated Russell Wilson last year. I don't mind ditching Najee. I think Gainwell is a bit of an upgrade. Gainwell's is pretty good. He could hit the hole hard. I think he's a bit of an upgrade over Najee. We'll see. Time will tell. And I think they're probably going to draft someone too, because They only signed Gainwell to a 1-year deal.
Derek Stingley put that play to bed. Just a gain of 1, and that brings up 2nd and 9.
I think one thing you learn, Kate,
But they signed Russell Wilson to a 1-year deal for $10 million. That's an insult, because that's exactly what the Steelers wanted, was $1 million. It was like a slap in the face, man.
This is Harris on 2nd down.
It wasn't just the Giants signing Russell. It was also the way that they signed him for 1 year, $90 million, or 1 year, $10 million, like exactly with the Steelers' budget. Wow. I could see if they offered him money that a man couldn't refuse, but
Some early movement on the left side there, but was he the first to go, or was he provoked?
it was him.
Penalty not helping their cause for this 3rd down. Russ now from the gun. Complete beyond the marker. 3rd and 18 kills most drives, right? But they find an opening and hit it to pick up the first.
That's what we call situational football. You spend all week working
Give
on
a
your
guy right in his
passing
face.
game
I liked
package
Russ,
to
man. I
take
thought the
advantage
Steelers
of
were
the
competing for the #1 seed.
First down throw for Wilson. Throw secured by George Pickett. And he'll head out of bounds at the opponent's 35.
He could have ran further, but you never know that at
20
the
yards out
time.
of the play and move the chains.
That is what elite offenses are all about. Why worry about 3 downs when you need only 1? Move the chains in one play and keep driving that defense backwards.
First down, here's Russ. That one is incomplete, and the clock stops with 18 seconds to go. Well, no look on his first look at the game, and it sets up 2nd down.
Well, he needed another second to deliver the throw he wanted to. You gotta give him a lot
Yeah.
of credit that time.
Probably glad it would have been intercepted, I
Getting in
think.
and forcing him to dish it before he was ready.
So after the incompletion, here comes the 2nd down call. Russ is cooking again. This one to Williams on left side. Just a couple of yards here as he heads for the sideline.
It's not just imperative that a quarterback knows man or zone. Same thing for a receiver, especially on a drag route. When he sees zone coverage like that, just settle down, find the soft spot, give your quarterback a chance.
I can't see how far the kick is
Let's see
even
what
here.
they draw up on this 3rd and 7. Wilson to throw again. Sideline, he's got it, and he gets the feet down too.
Shit.
The big
Now what do I
play nets
do?
him 17 yards. And he'll bring up a Pittsburgh first down.
You know, they call that the money down for a reason, because you're just simply not going to last long in the NFL if you don't convert a good portion of your 3rd downs. It's the money down. But nice to see them roll the dice and continue the series.
Wilson now, 1st and 10. He's just going to get rid of this one. Smart move there. When you saw the field, it's going to be 2nd down. Here comes Chris Boswell in the Steelers field goal unit. This 32 yards out. It's on the right.
Oh no!
Oh,
they gave,
And that cuts the lead back down to a lower point.
they gave it to me. Did
So
you
we
see?
finished 2 quarters. A couple more to come after this short break. More of the NFL on EA
Wow.
Sports after this. Well, that first first half. Certainly an
I
interesting
missed
one.
it. It was going like that. I'm lucky.
We get back and see what the second half has in store for us.
They better give it to me after that crazy drive with no timeouts and like they worked the sideline perfectly.
Fairbairn has it all set up for the kickoff. Patterson now to return it. And a decent return ends as they bring him down.
I forgot which button. I was like hit the wrong button and then pitch it back by mistake.
They're out and set. First and 10.
Yeah, I mean, at first I thought no way about Aaron Rodgers, and then I looked at the stats: 3,800 yards passing, 28 touchdowns. The Steelers have only had 28 touchdowns 5 times.
Instead, he's now forced to pick himself from behind the line, thanks to a great effort defensively.
Oh,
Go deep, but just couldn't make it happen. Now it's third down.
Can't cover it much better than that, really.
9 this time, because it tells you. It says they fixed it. It says your connection or your opponent's connection. Yeah. Because it'll say your opponent's connection was lost, or it'll say your connection was lost. So you know now. It used to be a guessing game, but they fixed it. I might switch to. I did my Russell Wilson spiel. I might switch to Metroid, Zelda, or Spider-Man actually, because I have I could beat Spider-Man right now and return it to the library. So let's play a little Spider-Man.